I'm ranaal-falaki.
I'm Bavin Patel.
And welcome to
the Nail It Podcast.
This is your place to lead better, live fully and laugh more. It's your blueprint to optimal performance. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Nail It Podcast, your place to
be better, live fully, laugh more.
Yay!
I got it right this time.
He got it right. Bav, how are you? How have you been?
I'm good, thank you. All good. Just prepping for going on holiday soon.
Oh, very nice. Another holiday, honestly.
Another holiday. That's what life's about, isn't it? Experiencing new experiences.
Well, I know you're going away with your family, so actually I think that's what life's about, isn't it? Relishing those magic, special moments.
Yeah, indeed. We surprised. Well, it was supposed to be a surprise, and then my son hates surprises, so my wife told him, he told my daughter, and now they know more than I do. So it was
so like, you're the one who's going to be surprised, so that's perfect.
I booked it. They're surprising me now, but no, yeah. No, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. I'm going to Switzerland, so Zurich. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yes, eat lots of chocolate.
That's exactly what I'm going for. Lind's my favourite chocolate, and I found a new one, Lindemann.
Oh yeah,
Liederach. Yeah, Liederach. That's it. That's the one. It's so nice. It's so nice.
Very good chocolate.
So
on that, since we just heard someone shouting out,
she can't keep quiet. She can't keep quiet. This one.
We better introduce our next guest, hadn't we?
Yeah. Go on.
Oh my goodness! Talk about amazing energy. I'm so thrilled to have Bavin's sibling.
That's her one title.
Bavin's sister. Yeah.
Credential required. That is.
No, that just says it all. I mean, she's got to be awesome.
But you can reel off the list of things that she is.
I mean, like, I've usually got such a good memory, but I've had to actually write this down because it's an incredible list of accolades. So Nishma Sharma, we are thrilled to have you, Nishi, who happens to be the Clinical Policy Advisor for NHSE, Honorary VP for the British Society of Dental Hygienists and Therapists, the Special Advisor for CQC, a clinic editor on the editorial board for Dentistry magazine. I know there's something there for the OCDO, so I'm going to have to get you to tell me what. And also founder for the Diversity in Dentistry Action Group. Anything else you want to add?
I think I'm practicing dentist, remember? Practicing dentist throughout this time. There were some other jobs that I did before that, a mentor as well. And the most important job, though, mum. Stop being such a rubbish mum. I've been a rubbish mum for ages, but no, mum is important.
Why rubbish mum?
Because, you know, when they say you can have it all, you can't. There's just no such thing. You can't have it all. It's rubbish. You can have success in whatever you want to have success in, but something always has to give. And that's what I found is if you want to be great, your career, great, but something's going to give. And for me, it was family. I think I sold a bit of my soul when I was doing all the other bits that I was doing, pretending to be important. So something had to go. But then if you want to shift the focus back onto family, you need to find, it's not even work-life balance. It shouldn't be, should it? You should live life and then work has to fit into that. Whereas I had it the other way around. And that's where I think the learning journey, that's where the journey's been.
So I can't wait to dive into this, but yeah, it's needing to redefine your definition of success, I think, to many big extent, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of dentists will resonate with that for that story and that sort of emotion. Before we dive into it, we'd like to do something on this podcast is talk about a few people's favorite quotes. So go on, Nish, what's your favorite quote?
So I've been thinking about this a lot, just following on from what we were saying about success and how to redefine success. But a great one that I heard recently was some people are so poor that all they have is money. And I love that because it's just, and that's Bob Marley who said that. And I thought, oh, that really does resonate when I'm thinking about what is success. And for so long, money's been such a big driver. I openly admit it. I'm so materialistic for such a long time. But then the one that's resonated with me throughout life is this too shall pass. And that is, to me, is not just riding out the bad stuff, but being grateful for the good stuff. So when you're having a moment of joy, when you're so happy in that moment, remember that moment's going to pass. So just really hold on to it and enjoy it. I think it's just try to do it and be present. That's it. Be present with that one. So I just think it's helped me throughout sad times, and it's helping me be more present as well. And then when I had things like burnout, it would be someone once said to me, everything always works out in the end, and if it hasn't, it's not the end. And I love that as well. It's like, but it's all going bad, but you're not there yet. It's a journey. So again, that's another one. So that's loads of quotes, but
Beautiful. I mean, so I remember being a kid and talking about being rich to my parents, but always with the viewpoint that understanding that being rich was not about having money. It was about being rich in wisdom, rich in love, rich in companionship, rich in safety. It's to really having that rather than money. So I love that Bob Marley one, and actually that It Too Shall Pass, and your take on it, that this isn't just the sad times, it's also the happy times. So needing to be present and make the most of every moment. We've had that already on our podcast. Clearly, it's something that resonates so deeply. It's obviously it's such a few words, and yet so incredibly powerful. You mentioned the word burnout, so why don't we actually go there, because you also talked right at the beginning, and I really want to delve into this story about sacrifice, not being able to have it all, needing to redefine success, calling yourself a rubbish mother in the past. So how have you made up for it? I mean, there are so many directions we could go in, but I'd love you to maybe just tell us a bit of that story that was a million accolades to your name and so many different roles that presumably led to burnout.
It was I think it was the need to have to prove myself so much. So I did not want to go into dentistry. It just wasn't me. It wasn't something that I wanted to do. It was very much, I would say, forced upon me. It's like, this is what you're going to do. This is it's not a choice. And so even stepping foot at, I went to Guy's, that then ended up becoming GKT. But now I'm thinking, oh my God, a prestigious school like that, and so many people would love to get in and all the rest of it. And well done me, I got in for not even wanting to get in, but get in. But just huge imposter syndrome the whole time. Or I don't even know if it was imposter syndrome. I think it was just, I shouldn't be here. These are not my people. These are not, I just didn't fit in. I didn't feel.
What did you want to do instead of dentistry?
I wanted to do law. I wanted to go and do law or read English or something like that. It was more that side of things, and that's why words mean so much to me. I love writing. That was more me. I struggled with maths. I struggled with the sciences. But I can understand why that was put upon me. I understand why my parents did what they did, because, you can't see it, you can't be it. There was nobody around at that time that looked like me that was in law. My parents were just like, you're never going to be able to you're never going to be accepted in this country to be able to do law. You're never going to be able to, go into medicine, go into dentistry. It's the sort of work that I do now with the Diversity and Dentistry Action Group is, if you can't see it, you can't be it. That's the kind of feeling, and you feel like there's a sense of not belonging. So I completely understand why they made me do it. And you know what? It's worked out well for me. I'm living the dental dream. I've made it work for me. But it was a hard slog. Even going through uni, I thought there was so many hurdles. I just think I'm not going to get through this course. It is such a grueling course. And unless your heart's really in it, it is hard to get through 5 years plus your VT. So I thought I'll get through the degree. That's when I first started suffering from mental illness. I really struggled being there. I didn't enjoy it at all. But we're talking 23 years ago. Mental illness I was a Fruit Loop. I mean, there was so much stigma attached to mental illness. It was so hard to understand what was happening to me and try and articulate that to my peers or university, but there's just no holistic support at that time.
What did that mental illness look like?
It was just not wanting to be there. It was just depression, severe depression. I just thought, I just don't fit in. What is wrong with me? It was very internal. It was, what is wrong with me? Why do I not fit in? Why do I, why do I not have the same drive as other people? Why do I find everything so boring? Flunking. I just felt like exams were there just as a chore. It was torturous. It was the best thing for me that came out of university was my husband. Finding a soulmate was, for me, was just, it was massive. He was my inspiration. He was, we're in the same year together, but he was the top dog. He always get a SWAT in the air. There's always a SWAT in the air. That was him. And so he was that guy. It was, yeah. Yeah, a bit like Bavin, like, Well, like my sister, she was Swine of the Year. She was a few years ahead, but it was, yeah, weirdly, I'm just a, yeah, you guys don't help my imposter syndrome, actually. Yeah, really clever people. And he was the Swine of the Year. So I latched onto him and, I'd go around and borrow his books and he'd teach me things. And I'd go to his room and borrow his books and he'd teach me things. And after a while, I was teaching him stuff. So we'll leave that there. Anyway, so
Oh, you just have to tell me what you were teaching him, even in his bedroom.
Disgusting. So that was, that was great. That was when I found someone that could support me and, was willing to be my biggest cheerleader. So then we get through that and we get on to do VT. And for me, something clicked during VT. I just thought, I can do this. I don't like being told what to do. So as soon as I got into VT, I could be my own boss and I could be in charge of my own patients and have my own nurse. And I just loved it. I really, really, my VT trainer was fantastic. She was put on this universe to be my VT trainer. She was just brilliant. She was really, really good. And
it's such an important part, isn't it, when you come out of dental school and VT, and so that can make or break the rest of your career.
100%.
You see so many people that have the wrong VT trainer, and then they get, they just go back into hospital, and then that's it, and they just sort of go between job and job. Whereas if you have a good VT trainer, it's the importance of having good mentorship, right?
Well, I was going to say, we don't have to call it even a VT trainer, right? Because remember, we may have other people who are not purely so they don't even know what VT is, but it's about having a mentor, right? It's about an early career mentor to teach you and guide you.
Yeah.
So you ended up loving it, and then what?
Loving it was strong, but I felt that I could do it. I wasn't feeling so rubbish about it. It wasn't like, right, that's it, I'm going to get this degree and now go and do law. Or I thought, okay, I can do this. And then it became about the money. And I'm brutally honest about it. I just wanted to, I was living in Old Kent Road. My car kept getting broken into. It was the pits. And it was just, now I've got this degree and now I can do it. I really want to do it. So it was practice. I was seeing all the patients I could see. I would never say no to seeing patients. I was working 6 days a week. I was working 8 to late Tuesday, 8 to late Thursday. I was a machine. I was an absolute machine. And it was just because I wanted so much to get my own place, to get out of that where I was living before. And we did. And we so the key motivator at that time for me was money and materialism. It was wanting to go out. It was wanting to go to nice places to eat. It was wanting to go to the theatre. So working class background, to me, the arts and culture is so big, but it is geared at people of a certain demographic for sure. The cost of these things is so high. So I saw dentistry for what it could enable me to do and to see and experience. So went through that kind of the materialistic years, I call it, wanted to then buy a house and then wanted to buy a really fat car and do all those things and got it out of my system. And then what happens is you realize that, well, it's not so much, well, before that, it was more things that I'd be fearful of. So if I had someone coming in that needed extirpation, it would put the fear of God in me. I just thought, oh my God, I'm not really good at root canal. So I just got good at it. Just did lots, go on courses. The best money, the best pound you'll ever spend is on yourself. You have to invest in yourself. So I wanted to get to a point where I'm not scared of doing it. I'm not scared of my ES, the VT trainer. She was, she could prep, right? Blindfolded. It was like, she was so not scared of anything, and I wanted to become that confident. So general dentistry, I went for it and I loved it. And I'd pass on the scary cases to other people. I'd be like, what, veneers? And just pass that on. And I didn't do it. But then you get good. And then all of a sudden you get bored. I find that we're such high achievers. We just get bored. So it became, right, what to do? Let's start looking at courses. Loads of courses out there. Spire worked for me. It was fantastic. It wasn't being the best. It was being the best I can be. And it was fantastic. It opened up my eyes to being able to do veneers. Composite bonding I've been doing since forever anyway, because I was taught by Martin Keller, and he was one of the first ledgers that said you need to do it. So that was great. But then you get bored. So I hit this kind of, we moved from where we were living. We came to Stortford. I've got 2 young kids and I was bored as hell. I was just bored. It's like dentistry for me was just, it wasn't doing anything for me. It was just, drilling, filling, suction, repeat, four walls, surgery. There was just not enough. So it became that, do I leave it completely? Do I just, is it time to move on? And we looked at getting property and that kind of thing, like you do, because I watched too much Homes in the Hammer. So on maternity leave, and it was like, I'll just buy and sell loads of properties. That'll be fine. It works for him. But again, it's boring. I ended up out of chance. Lots of things happened in my life out of chance. Meeting somebody who at that point was talking about needing clinical advisors for NHS England, clinical reviewers, that kind of thing. So I looked into that, and I looked into policy and, how does the system work? Who makes the decisions, and who are all these arm's length bodies, and what is the remit of the GDC, and what does CQC do? And, I just wanted to understand the policy behind dentistry. So that's when I fell into my first role, which was to be a clinical advisor for NHS England. It was a grilling. It was very difficult. You have to learn the framework and how it all joins together. But I was successful in getting that. So that was where I first started. And it pulled on different abilities from us. So I think sometimes as dentists, we pigeonhole ourselves into boxes of, well, we're just dentists. I mean, what else can we possibly do? We're just dentists. But it's rubbish. I mean, I think as dentists, we are, we're confidants, we're counsellors, we're psychologists, we're constantly analysing people when they come in. We are artists, we are pioneers, we're engineers. We act, you have to put on the act no matter what sort of rubbish day you're having. That patient comes in, you're on it, you've got to perform. We are surgeons, we are scientists, we are engineers, all of these things. We have so many transferable skills. It's unbelievable. I don't think we realize how talented we are. So if you then want to go in and do something else, go into policy, go into regulation, go into banking, we could do it. We can do it. So that opened up things and opportunities for me. And then a few years later, I ended up at the Office of the Chief Dental Officer. So that's where I was a clinical fellow, and then went on to the clinical leadership manager there.
And so why did you burn out?
I think it was going. So I've got two kids now. 6 and 4. I was thinking about this the other day. I think they're the same age as Omi, actually. So it was probably 8 and 6 then. And it was I was trying to. I wanted to. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know what I wanted. I don't know if it was just I wanted more. I felt like I wasn't good enough. I don't know what it is, but working in policy with the various different hats, as well as having 2 young kids and trying to be, remember the PTA? That's a big one. So still trying to do the PTA stuff, still trying to get to do school drop-offs, still trying to get to their nativities, sports days, parents' evenings. And then along comes COVID. COVID killed me off. I mean, I was at the OCDO during COVID, and that was one of the most stressful things I think I've ever been through in all my days. And I think when we're all I still, one of my best friends is recently got married. I was her maid of honor, and she was at OCDO with me. And now we bear the scars. It really was. It was a very traumatic experience. We didn't get the break that other people did, and I regret it massively. And I wish I had. I wish I'd had that time with my kids. It was all down to my husband, teaching them. We had a brilliant time of it because we were all in the same boat, but we weren't on the same size boat, right? We weren't all in the same position. We were okay. We weren't, fearful as much as other people were. But I was working constantly throughout that time, and I regret that. I wish I hadn't. And then once we got through COVID, I was ratty, irritable, highly, highly stressed. I couldn't calm down. Nothing would make me laugh. Everything was either, emotions were 0 to 100. So I was either really happy, or I was really sad, or I was really angry, or I was really, it was never just a normal plateau. And I think that's one of the big signs of burnout. Something wasn't right with me. I would walk in to join them watching a film, and they'd be like, "Yay, mummy's here, move up, mummy's here." And I think to get a round of applause from your kids, that just showed how absent I was. That's rubbish. And that made me really stop a minute and think, this is not right. And so I'd be watching this film with them, but I'd be teary. And it's like, what is this? What is this that I'm going through? And it was just burnout. It was not being able to regulate my emotions because I was constantly on it. It's like, what's the next thing? What do I need to do now? What do I need to do now? And then going back into a clinical environment where we're dressed like Darth Vader, it was just horrendous. So it wasn't fun at all during that time. But I recognized it. Massive support from the office. They were brilliant. The CDO, Sarah Hurley, was fantastic. She was very fair. She was like, take a sabbatical, take time out, you need it. And I did. And I didn't know what to do with myself. So I was still clinical, but I was sitting there with, oh my God, I've got a day free. I've got 2 days free. Like, what do I do with myself? So obviously I sorted through my kids' clothing. And so I just did the things that
Colour coordinated the books behind it.
It is, right? You have to go through all their clothing, and then it was just, and I found really depressing things like, you know, I can't remember how old they were. Hang on. So Joe was 10, so she was 8. So 8-year-old was wearing the knickers of a 6-year-old because rubbish mummy here hadn't sorted it. So it was just little things like that and things I had to get done around the house and connecting. I needed to connect. I needed to connect with my husband. You know, you have one plate. You only have one plate. You're only allowed one plate. But I was trying to spin loads, but you have one plate. And on there, OCDO and policy and all that rubbish took up so much. And it was just greasy and fatty and, you know, like all the wrong foods. And it wasn't sustaining, it wasn't nourishing. And there were 3 green peas on that plate. And those 3 green peas was my family. And then like maybe a tiny bit of, I don't know, tomato that's just got, it was just my social life. It was a rubbish time. So I had to get that better. It wasn't nourishing me anymore. My diet, my life diet was killing me.
Can I ask, how did it impact on your relationship with your husband?
It was difficult. It was, we'd become distant without knowing we'd become distant. So we're almost ships in the night. So it'd be like, so handover, right? I'm going to do that and you're doing this, right? Handover. So we're doing this, we're doing that. He's always been the most, like my biggest cheerleader. Anything I want to do, he would support it. Anything. And it will be like, so if you want to do OCDO, okay, you do that. And it's like, okay, I want to do it. And now I want to, you know, recently, so I'm going to apply to the CQC. Okay, you do that. It would just be one of those, is that what you want? Are you sure? Yeah, okay, you do that. He's very, very supportive. But I think since I'm the burnout, when I came out of that, to be at home and to see what life can be when you've got more time and you can just sit and watch rubbish together. That's the best. Netflix and chill is the best thing in the world. I just love it. I was the biggest party animal ever. Now I'm just, you know what, Jim Jams, Netflix and chill. I love it. I love it. It's just, to me, it's just that is fun. Just sit there. Sometimes we'll just read a book. We'll just sit there and read a book. We're just reading together. I just didn't have time for any of that. But now I can see how important that was for me, for us to connect, mental health and well-being, just to connect with family, to connect with my brother and my sister, to connect with friends. I thrive off people, and I struggled during COVID not being able to have contact with my friends. That was big for me. I was too busy anyway, let's be honest. But then afterwards, once just going for coffee, tiny thing. Therapy to me is going for a long walk and a stomp with a mate. You just run, you just talk about anything. It's the best. You can't beat that.
And something about being out in nature. And you got a dog. You got a dog.
Then we've got Blaze, yeah. Well, then we have to go out in nature. She is a little mini sausage dog, a little mini Dachshund, and she only needs really 2 50-minute walks, but she can go for hours. So we'll just go round the estate, but just being out. See, what I need to not do, oh no, this is not going to work for us, is not listen to podcasts. Because whenever I go out now, I'm addicted to listen to podcasts. I can't, I'm addicted. So I think I probably did 4 of yours off the bat, just going for one long walk. I'm addicted to Stephen Bartlett, in just listening to what they have to say, and Rangan Chatterjee, and I just think they're just brilliant. Just being able to, but I need to be able to not do that. So to me, if I leave the house and I haven't got my headphones off for whatever reason, my battery's gone, I'm like, oh, dead time. Well, it's not dead time. Just be quiet.
Well,
Just
it's
look
about
around you.
It's back to this too shall pass, and needing to be really present, right? So
Yeah.
I'm hearing so many things here, because you are like, literally like the Duracell bunny, and
She said it, not me. She said it. You see what I've got to live with, what I've lived with.
But I say, like, the whole Nail It system is actually about turning you into a Duracell bunny, in that you never run out of energy, though, right? As opposed to the fact that you did run out of energy. You mentioned imposter syndrome. Your relationship was impacted. You would walk into a room and you suddenly realized, is this really the life where my kids are just so unbelievably happy that I've come to join them on the sofa, which means something must be seriously wrong? I mean, you sped over a lot of those things, but they're very serious key points that anybody listening could relate to that. So thank you for being so honest about it. Yet you still do clinical dentistry. You found your way through imposter syndrome, and yet something is driving you and pushing you to be the lead, really. Policy making, CQC, special advisor, founder of this Diversity in Dentistry Action Group. What is driving you to do all of these other things, and how are you able to keep them now in balance with the understanding that you need to be around for your family?
Yeah. I think the happiness has changed from material years. It then went on to power. I need to prove myself and prove that I can make it in dentistry, and it wasn't the wrong career. To my driver now is getting kicks out of things. I get kicks out of things. I get joy and happiness out of things. I get happiness out of the regulatory work, because for too long, one person killing themselves over something that happens at work is one person too many. And so I feel that when it comes to regulation, and it needs to be the right touch. It needs to be in a I get you. I want to be that person where they're like, oh, you get me. Like, they're always so scared when you go into when you have the clinical opinions that you're writing, or if you go into a practice to a CQC, people are so frightened, and you think, we're just humans. Like this is not, like, you can just be normal. It's fine. I get it. I've worked in full on NHS conditions, great NHS practices, full on private practice now, and it's that kind of, I can get how hard it is to be a dentist. So that's why that part of me drives. That's what drives that part of me. I enjoy being the good guy when I can be. There are also people out there that maybe we don't need, or maybe don't belong. Maybe the profession isn't suitable for them for various reasons. And I think in order for us to stay a profession, and an upstanding profession, all the perks that we get from being dentists and being a part of the dental profession, we need to ensure that there is a quality assurance with that, because there are some worrisome behaviours out there. Some of the things that I read and hear, and it's a lot. Equally, everyone's trying their best. I don't believe there's anybody that's not trying. Everyone's always trying their best, and so their best has to be good enough. And it is, and I want them to know they're being seen. And maybe if you just tried doing this, or just tried doing that. So I like to be that person. The Diversity in Dentistry Action Group, that's a completely different. That was something where for so many years I just didn't see that there was an issue. I thought dentistry is too diverse. Oh my God, it's too diverse. And it depends what you mean by too diverse. It's great for people that look like me, or that might look like you. But there is not enough Black representation at all in dentistry. It's completely disproportionately underrepresented. Why? And it goes, and I opened my eyes to it. I could see it. We need to be an inclusive profession. We need anyone who wants to come in and work in the world of dentistry. You're welcome to come in without all the barriers that are there, and whether that be conscious bias.
Can you just explain what it is? What is that just for the listeners? What is BDAG? Where was it born, and what is it about?
So, Diversity Dentistry Action Group was born in 2020 because we didn't have enough to do, and it was May 2020. Where was it May? It was June 2020. So it was off the back of George Floyd, yet another Black American who was shot by the police. He just walked into a shop. He wasn't doing, hardcore robbery. It wasn't some heinous sexual crime. He literally just handed over a fake $20 bill. That was it. And for that, a police officer leant on his
Yeah.
neck for 9 minutes, 21 seconds and killed him. So there was all the backlash from that. There was Black Lives Matters movement and the such like. And to me, I was really strict with lockdown and people were going out protesting. I just couldn't understand why you'd break the rules. Like, why are you protesting? And there was somebody at OCDO who I really respect, really lovely lady, and she'd been out to one of those demonstrations. And I was like, mate, why would you break the rules of lockdown? Why would you? And she was like, Nish, this is important, right? This is, she went and she started telling me about how oppressed she feels and what it's like to walk in her shoes. And then she said the words, just because I carry it well doesn't mean the load isn't heavy. And it really opened my eyes. She was talking about even working in the field at OCDO and some of the conferences she'd attend. And she'd be like, she's the only black woman in the whole room. And they'd all be speaking, asking questions. And yet the only question someone would ask her is, oh, wow, your hair's lovely. And you think, really? It's just microaggressions. And I started to learn about what are microaggressions, or the terminology that we hear. What is privilege? What is the term white privilege? So I started seeing things, and I started seeing things like, well, actually, it is disproportionate, the number of people that we have in our profession. When is the last time I saw a black dentist? And when's the last time we saw a white boy from a council estate? And what are the chances of a white boy from a council estate getting to dentistry right now? They are slim. That is not happening. So there's so much discrimination that's going on, and unconscious bias and conscious bias that causes. I think as a profession we shouldn't have that, or we should try and address it at least. I mean, we're not superhuman, right? Society is biased. It's getting worse. I feel it's getting a lot worse. The riots last year, and some of the anti-Semitism and the xenophobia, and it's just horrendous. It's horrible that what's going on in the world right now, and it does impact us as a profession. It really does impact us. During the riots, there was a guy from up north who contacted me in my position at that point as chair of DDAG, and was just saying that they didn't know what to do. They didn't know where they stood, where they were working in an out of hours clinic, and a guy had basically massive, abscess and such like, and he's like, oh, no, I don't want you to touch me. Don't even touch me. And can I see someone white? And it's like, dude, I'm the only one I'm the only one who can see you, right? It's like, no, I don't want you to touch me. And he just dropped the P word. And it was like, I don't want any of your P germs. Like, who even says that? And he was like, I need to get to your swelling. Otherwise it's going to get, and he went, all right, well, yeah, I want you to wear your mask and I want you to wear your gloves and I don't want you to breathe over me. It's not cool. And that's the kind of, and that's just one story. I could give you hundreds of lived experiences, if not that. I mean, there's hundreds. It's going on all the time. So as a profession, where is our, oomph to say, let's do something? So back to DDAG, we created this pan-professional collaborative group that has over 32 members. We're talking regulators, indemnifiers, specialist societies, dental schools council, the Association of Dental Groups, just everybody was so supportive in saying, we're on board. So we will hold stakeholder meetings. We'll try and do 3 or 4 a year, and we'll invite all these sort of key stakeholders and just talk about all the things that people find is almost taboo to talk about, and be like, let's be honest, what are we doing?
So we're running out of time, so we're going to get on to our last question. But I think, because I asked you the question of what's your purpose, and you gave me a superficial answer because you kind of broke it down to each role and what you love about that role. But usually when you do something and you do that many things, when you peel off the layers, you get to the bottom of what the purpose is. And I have a feeling something about it with you. The word that popped into my head is about fairness.
Oh, Massive justice warrior, massive. I will always fight for the underdog. Yeah, always.
That's
I
because
can't
it
stand
just seems
injustice.
that seems to kind of be the middle bit between all those roles. You're fighting for fairness in
Yeah,
on
I
so
think that's
many
exactly
levels.
what it is. There is an element of I can't, in no matter what form I see it. When I see, I don't know, if I see a nurse get bullied, if I see it doesn't matter what form I see it, I will always speak up for whoever the victim in that situation is, or people that don't have a voice, and try and speak for them. Because for me, it's a trigger, and fairness is a trigger. That I just, it bothers me. Clearly, something from my childhood, but it does bother me, and I think that is, I don't, maybe that is the purpose. I think right now, my purpose for all the things that I do is because I can. Kids are older. I enjoy it. I have massive. There's lots of things I do outside of dentistry. I write. I write stand-up comedy. There's loads of poetry, articles. There's so many things that I do outside of dentistry because I can, and because life's too short. And if it makes me happy, it's not stressful.
And
And
otherwise, because this too shall pass.
because this too shall pass. This
So you have to make
moment.
the most of
Hold it
everything
tight,
that
Rana.
you
Hold
do.
So
it
so
tight.
good.
All right, so final question for you then, because you
Go
are
on.
on the Nail It podcast, of course. And I just feel like I've been in this, like, I honestly feel like I've been in a washing machine. She's just like tumble dried me. It's like, because so many things. It's like, oh my goodness. It's like, I kind of, it's like, but I just need to like zip you for a minute to just say, wait, I want to talk about that. There's so much you're going to have to come back. But okay, so Nail It podcast, six key pillars out of 38 components. For you, have you written it down, Bavin? Have you had a guess?
Yeah, of course I have.
You written something down? We've both written something
I
down.
think so. I
Okay.
should know my sister, shouldn't I? I should know her.
Good.
Oh no! Are we going to guess each other's? I didn't know we were going to do that.
No, not each
So,
other, just yours. Just yours.
which of those six pillars do you feel is the most important or resonates with you the most?
Well, they're very good. All of them. All of the needs, attitude, integrity, limitless, right? Intuition and tangibility. I think. I think it's integrity. But attitude. It's very hard between integrity and attitude. And it's like, what did you write?
Is she right?
I wrote
I,
attitude. I wrote attitude. Yeah.
attitude's mine as well, though. I like attitude. I think that's probably why.
Attitude, 100%. Because it's not. It's if you want to see the world differently, you've just got to clean the lenses through which you see the world, right? You got to. It is the way I am now compared to where I was 5 years ago. It's all about attitude. I think integrity is really important for the profession generally, but yeah, attitude.
Well, it's anything to do with being a leader of your own life, right? Or an optimal performance of the rechargeable batteries in yourself. So the attitude system, four main components to that. So it makes up the sustainable success toolkit. And so that consists of strength. So this is everything to do with obviously grit, determination, resilience. So really having that foundation and that strength within ourselves. Solution, so needing to be solution focused, having a growth mindset, not having a fixed mindset, seeking out opportunity. Self-talk, so positive versus negative self-talk is massive. We're talking to we're the person we speak to more than anybody else, so needing to have that positive self-talk. And smile, so all about the impact and influence that happiness and positivity, not toxic positivity, so it's got to be real, can have on your performance and your leadership. So that's what attitude encompasses. Yeah, and 80% is attitude, 20% is knowledge. So you talked about going through dental school and how hard and how challenging it was, but actually what makes you successful becomes the tools, the filters, as you said, that you put behind it. Because you could have any function, you could be a machine and have a function, but you need to then be able to program it to deliver in a particular way, right?
Yeah.
And for us human beings, yeah, we need to have attitude. We need to be able to be versatile. We need to be able to be flexible, and we must have an impact on everybody around us.
Yeah, I mean, out of those that you've just discussed, the strength, the solution, the smile, I have to work on my self-talk. I'm not good at that. I struggle with it. The negative niche
That's it.
is alive and kicking.
We'll have to get you onto one of our Nail It boot camps, because we do an incredible, really empowering, fun live exercise with that, which gets you to talk. We call it angels and demons, and you get to talk completely to yourself, and it really, really digs stuff out. So I'll let you know when the next one is.
Yes, when is the next one? How do you get onto that?
We're doing some next year. Yeah.
We're running a roadshow. So we're running a roadshow this year in March, April, May, of 1-day Nail It events, and then I will definitely do a 3-day one towards the end of the year, probably, because I do call it a boot camp. It's very intensive, it's very immersive, and incredibly transformative, and great fun. You come out a different person.
Well up there.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for all you do in dentistry and for dentistry.
Yeah.
Not at all. Thank you. That hour has flown. That was brilliant.
Yeah. Thank you, Nish. Thanks again.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
Yeah. Baz, what do you want to say? She's your sister.
What? Yeah, what was the saying? You can choose your friends. You just got like a little sneak peek into my life. That is it. That is our Christmas. That is that. Yeah, it's.
I love it. I might have to come next year, because I do alternate years on my own when my kids go. I think I'll just invite myself along.
Yeah, come along. Do you know what? There's another one. There's another one of us. So there's an older one as well. So yeah, there's an older sister. There's Nishma, and there's myself. And the funny thing is, I'm married to a dentist. Nish is married to a dentist, and so you can imagine the conversations we have around the Christmas table, and just any get together. But yeah, she's a lot of fun, and she does wear a lot of hats, and she's been my mentor from when I was young, so I've always looked up to her.
So I want to just ask you this, just as we wrap up. I mean, having a sister like that who does so much for dentistry, but at the same time witnessing her burning out, witnessing her not liking dentistry, and then working her head off at it, as she said herself, in that materialistic way, and then shifting and changing and burning out, and then still, I mean, she reminds me of me, right? It's kind of like, how many more things can you take on? And then she'll take on another thing and another thing, another thing, and yet she can handle it. How do you know the profession?
Yeah.
Do you feel an admiration? Do you end up feeling a concern? Do you end up feeling a worry? Do you fight her corner? What?
The thing is, it's great because I can understand her. I can understand where she's coming from, because I live essentially the same work life that she would have, and the same opportunities and the same stresses of when she goes into work, and things that may not be going right, like. We message each other. We've got a group chat about even little things. And I think that's the important thing, is that we've got this network, and we're so fortunate to have that network, because, like I say, my wife's a dentist. So even when you come home and you say one little thing, if your partner is not in the same sphere as you, or the same, it's got to be such a lonely place. And I think that's another reason why it's so important to reach out to people that are in similar situations to you, like, for example, practice owners with other practice owners in their area, associates with other associates, because we're lucky, because we have that relationship within our family, and we've got a lot of contacts. But imagine being a dentist in the middle of nowhere with no one else understands your stresses. That's where you can get into a very lonely place, and people can get quite stressed and quite depressed. And the good thing about Nish is that she talks about it, she tells everyone, and she's very verbal, whereas you're going to get people that just close up and do the opposite, and that's a dangerous place to be.
So actually be as open and don't be afraid. That's a wonderful place to end. Wow, thank you so much for listening, and we look forward to seeing you again on another episode of the Nail It podcast. Bye bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Nail It podcast. We would love it if you would leave us a 5-star review, and if you'd like to feature as one of our guests, or you're ready to nail it, then check out our events, programs and educational courses by visiting nailitindentistry.com.